Hello and welcome to MetalCast by MetalCoffeeShop. My name is Karen Edwards, and today we're going to be talking about safety on metal roofs. And joining me for this episode are Neil and Lin Warner from SteelGrip SAMM. Welcome to MetalCast.
Thank you, Karen.
Thanks. Great
Hi.
to be here.
Good to see
Well,
you.
would you please introduce yourselves for our listeners and give us a little bit about your background?
I'm Neil Warner. I'm the inventor of SteelGrip SAMM, the magnetic mats. Safety Assist magnetic mats is what the SAMM stands for. And it's for working on steel roofing. My wife, Lynn, she's the overall manager of everything else.
Excellent. Excellent. And tell me a little bit about, I guess, the history of what brought about the Steel Grip SAMM. How was it born?
Well, I was a painting contractor for 36 years. And when I was in high school, I also built pole barns. So I have experience with trying to stay up on steel roofing. And we were on a job, my partner and I, that I worked with from the time I started painting. And we had to set up scaffolding, 4 of us, to reach a second story set of dormers. This house had 6 dormers on lake here in Michigan. And at noon, we sat down and we had not done any work, any of us, except setting up, tying off, putting things in place so we didn't damage the roof, so we could stay there. And we looked at one another and we said, there's got to be a better way. This is just so time consuming and costly, and still not really that safe in the way that we access dormers or anything when working chimneys, working on steel roofing. So we tossed around some ideas, made a few notes. My partner went to a job similar the following year. He took an initiative to make up some prototypes, used them on the job. Everybody borrowed them. Everybody used them, loved them. He came back, he said, we got to do something with this. So I took it and developed higher quality materials, better covering the product that we have today. And we've very proud of what we've been able to do in the last 4 years in producing SAMM mats.
Excellent. Now, for our listeners, explain to them what exactly the Steel Grip SAMM mat is, how it looks, what does it look like, how big is it, how does it work? I want to know all the details.
Well, Karen, we have 3 different styles. We have the pole barn 9-inch on center rib, 12-inch on center rib. Then we have standing seam, which is hidden fastener, the terms in the field. And then we have the Pro line. Now with the pole barn, which is probably your most popular type of steel and most common out there, we have a 25 by 5/8 wide mat by 21 inches. They come in sets of 2, and they have a diamond deck rubber surface with magnets, strips of magnet attached to the bottom, and a non-skid rubber coating over that. Easy to lay in place, easy to move. They'll hold up to 300 pounds or more. We recommend using them under 712, but we have used them over that.
Mm-hmm.
Always use a lanyard and harness. You want to be tied off. In the industry, any type of safety equipment helps. But our 12-inch on center are a larger mat. They are 34 inches wide by 23 inches in length. The standing seam is a magnet which is 10 inches wide by 21 inches in length, one on each side of a 28-inch mat by 21. That lays over the center rib. Those are easy to use. You can use them on any width of steel. So it's one of the questions a lot of our customers ask. Can we use it on 12-inch? Because we use it on 16-inch. It's just a matter of laying over that rib. It gives you two spaces for your feet to set securely. And then we have what we've just developed, and we're really proud of this. In the last year, we've developed the Pro line.
Okay.
And that is a 25 and 5/8 by 21. It has a super high strength neodymium magnet bottom.
So tell me what you just said a word I don't know.
Neodymium,
Neodymium.
neodymium is a magnet material. It's a rare earth mineral. And for anyone who's ever had the little magnets that you put on your refrigerator that your friends say, try and pull that off, and you can't do it, that's the neodymium magnetic mineral.
Okay, so it's extra strong.
It's extra strong. And it was just 4 years ago, maybe 5 now, that they were able to make a flexible magnetic material out of it. And that was exciting for us because that's what we need. We need something to work on various types of steel, as well as I'm sure you're aware today in the metal industry that there's cedar shake,
Oh
imitation
yeah.
slate, terracotta,
Mm-hmm.
a vast array. You can get steel in almost any color today, most any design, which is cool because you can do beautiful homes, beautiful roof lines.
Yeah, I think that's really one of the appeal behind metal is all the options that you can have. And so it's great to hear that your Pro mat is going to work with all of those.
Yeah, and steel lasts a lifetime.
Yeah.
It's one of the great things about steel. They're even making siding today that looks like log. You can produce a house today because it's so costly that it's so expensive to build. If you can have a no maintenance home with steel on it, how fantastic is that?
Right, right.
So yes, in working with steel roofing, when you've got a mat that will help keep your tools in place, reduce damage, that's one of the big goals, as well as the safety for the workers, is you don't want to damage these.
Right. If
You don't
you
want to,
drop a tool and it slides down off that roof,
customers not happy.
no, not at all. And neither, and you might mess up your tool too.
Yeah, look out below.
Right.
And
Wow.
that's the thing. If you've got masons up there putting in a stone chimney, and they've got to do a setup to keep themselves in place, protect the surface. What do? They go through a massive process. Now, one of the advantages of our material is for especially the standing seam and the Pro line, you can go up there, lay the mats in place. Things like the pivot tool, which is an angled wedge for roofing work, you could put in place and then build up off of that to set up a scaffolding quickly, safely, and be able to go to work. You've got a mat down, say you've got 4 sets, 6 sets. You lay out all the way around your work area. You know you're not going to damage that surface if you drop a tool, a trowel, or a stone.
Right.
That's a great thing to have in your confidence in what you're doing in your work area.
So yeah, that's a good point. If the it's not just for the contractor installing the metal, it's for those installing the accessories. Well, maybe chimney's not an accessory, but you know what I'm talking about, the extras like that
Yeah,
to protect it where they're working.
yeah. And maintenance people, when you have to go back and say you've got to replace a boot vent, you've got to make some sort of repair from falling branches. Your time, one of the things about iffy weather, such as what we're experiencing this year, where every other day it seems to be mist or a little bit of snow, it melts off, it's rain, it's wet. How do you get up there confidently and do the work you need to do without losing?
Yeah. That makes the surface very, I mean, it's slick anyway, being steel and metal, but yeah, add a little bit of dew or moisture and it becomes even treacherous.
Yeah.
One of the things we're finding is our people that purchase the mats are loving it because they feel more confident on the roof and they are not as tired at the end of the day because they're not always on guard. They've got a safe footing.
Yeah, one of the things that I experienced as a painter and as a pole barn builder was if you get on a 512, 612, 712 or higher, you're bracing yourself against those outside ribs with your feet all day long. Your
Right.
back, even if your harness is holding you in place, you still don't want to fall and hit the deck because you
Right.
want to damage things. And we just had, this was really cool. We appreciated it so much. One of the contractors that used our mats, Brad McInnes, he made videos for us and telling
Oh,
us how much he loved the fact that as he put on a ridge cap and end seams, he was able to set tools in place, kneel down without slipping, and it was a day where it was misting. And you know how today, the great thing about steel producers today, they're working with the contractors to put plastic covering on,
right.
many of them, for that added protection. But that's even slipperier.
Right. Yeah.
he was Brad was talking about the dust because they were excavating right next to him on this site. They were adding several buildings apparently in this area, and he was telling us that the dust was a major factor every day because he might get a couple of steps in, and then after that, his feet just slid.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
he
That's
loved the match for that.
That's great. There's nothing like a testimonial from a
Yeah,
contractor that's using the product and to be that thrilled with it that he did some videos for you and shared that with you. Yeah, that is fantastic.
yeah, we
Fantastic.
appreciate it when they get back to us in telling us how they worked for them. And several have. We had a chimney cleaner who was trying to access a 812 pitch, and he said that it was almost impossible. And once he got the mats, he was able to get up there, set up with his equipment, and clean the chimney, get down. Because when you're cleaning a chimney, you do make dust around you too.
Sure, sure.
He said that's the tricky part is he may get up there, but once he has dust in the area around him and it collects on his shoes, how does he get down?
Right.
Yeah.
So
And
for moving around the roof, how easy is it to, pick the mat up and move it to the next spot? Is that how it's used?
most guys can do it with one hand. The standing seam mats are because of the width of the magnet. You can grab it on center, pick it up, hit the rib line, and just drop it in place, and you're ready to walk. The pole barn, a little more two hands, or some guys will lay them from the side.
Mm-hmm.
Start by laying the edge into the valley line next to the rib, and then dropping it in place. Hit it with your foot. You're ready to walk.
Wow. So how many people, get a two pack to start with and then come back for more? You probably see that a lot.
A lot. Yeah, we had last year we had an average of 18% return purchase,
Wow.
on top of the ones who would buy 3 to 5 sets or more, some 10. It was great. It was a high average, and people were very happy with them. We just had what was it, Lynn? A customer from 2001.
Yes.
They had purchased 5 sets of this standing seam, I believe, and they came back and they purchased 5 sets of the Pro line this year.
So you've been doing this since when? When did you first develop this?
We first the first prototype uh, was back in 2012.
Okay.
And we started working on it then. We formed the company in 2014, and we started our first sales. We did a show in Marquette at the Dome. That was the spring of 2019. We had a great response. People loved them, and we've been improving them ever since. Listen to our contractors, listen to what they have. We love feedback,
Mm-hmm.
and we sometimes call them and ask them what they liked, what they didn't like. And that's how we made the progression into the pro line and have been able to continue on supplying them with a good tool.
Yeah,
Ever since.
that's fantastic. That's exciting. So many times new products and tools are born out of a need that a contractor sees while they're on the job. And that's exactly your story here. And it's fantastic to hear that you've been able to take what solved a problem for you and made you feel safer. And now you're helping how many other people out there stay safe. That's really impressive.
Well, we're proud and really thankful to be able to do that, because I'm fortunate. As I said, when I was in high school and just out, I built pole barns,
Mm.
and I literally fell off 3 or 4 times.
Wow.
Twice in the winter, and in the summer I fell one time and I jammed my shoulder, and another
Mm.
time twisted my ankle. But in 2.5 years that I built pole barns, I did have to take friends a couple of times that were working with us to the hospital. And I looked at that, and it's can be a lifelong injury that you just don't recover well from.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, safety, as you mentioned at the beginning, safety is the utmost importance on any job, anywhere. So anytime there is a new tool or equipment that can contribute to safety on the job site, it's really important to let contractors know about it. And which is one of the reasons we're doing this podcast today.
Yeah.
Well, our tagline is preventing injuries and saving lives. So at this point, we have mats in 49 states and Canada. The only state we're missing is Nevada. Come on, Nevada. Don't. So we've been selling online for 4 years, and Nevada's the only missing link.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll work on them. That's where the International Roofing Expo is this year in 2024. So maybe we can convince somebody attending the show from Nevada to place an order.
Maybe that's a show we can attend.
Well, actually, Roofers Coffee Shop did take our sample mats to the Las Vegas convention, so we were surprised that we didn't get any calls from them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll try
Yep.
again. We'll try again in 2024. We will get Nevada to represent here.
But one of the things that we've found is really helpful to contractors is they buy when they need,
Hmm.
which I'm guilty of. When I was a painting contractor, if I needed a new tool and the job justified the purchase, that's when I bought it. And Lynn is always available for customer service, basically 24/7. And we like to have a real person there
Sure.
for that, because then you know when you're getting your match, you know what you're buying. And customer service, at least to me, was always a high priority in purchasing something and knowing I'm getting what I'm paying for. So then,
Absolutely. And not having to push buttons and speak to robots and recordings, right?
yeah.
Well, we've been selling online for 4 years now, but I do get an awful lot of in-person calls, which is really nice because people have questions, and I usually can answer most of them. If I can't, I call them back with the right answer from Neil. And we do have a great website with a lot of drop-down columns, and one is the facts. And if people look at the facts drop-down, there's information on sizes, weight, just about anything anybody's answered. And if somebody comes up with a new one, that's a fact that we add in.
That's good. Yeah, yeah, because we love to do things online nowadays. So I love to go out there and learn about a product, read about it, before I decide or maybe, if I do have a question, then having that phone number there to call is really invaluable. So that's good. So contractors can find your website, what is your website?
That's SteelGrip SAMM, SteelGrip, capital SAMM.com. And as I said before, the SAM is an acronym for Safety Assist Magnetic Mats.
Safety Assist Magnetic Mats. Wow. And the metal is just booming, right? The popularity is growing. We mentioned all the colors, all the styles, all the patterns. And so I think you're going to just be growing right along with that as contractors look for the right tools and the right equipment to keep them safe. And we're glad that you could be here today on this podcast to share about your unique, innovative safety tool, preventing injuries and saving lives. Right, Lynn?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, not only preventing injuries, but it makes the job go a lot faster if you don't have to take a lot of extra equipment, just the ladder and the mats. So that seems to be convenient. They're really easy to carry because they're magnetized. A lot of the contractors carry them on the interior sides of their pickup trucks. So they're
True.
easy to get to when you need them.
Reduces storage space.
True.
Yeah. And with the hurricanes, the fires, the floods, steel, every time you look at which building survived, it's usually the ones that are covered in steel. And so with today's climate, that's a big factor. People
That's for sure.
get the safety and the value out of it.
Yeah, we're seeing lots more severe weather, hurricanes and fires and it's crazy. So yeah, I think more home and building owners are going to be asking for those products that can protect the structure, So I'm really, really glad that there's safety solutions like SteelGrip SAMM out there to keep our contractors safe.
Yes, yeah, and
Neil's done a lot of research and development in getting the correct components to make sure that the mats are as safe as can be. But we also had third-party testing. We did 1,000-hour weather testing with a company called QLab out of Florida and passed with flying colors before we even put them on.
Go ahead.
What is 1,000-hour testing? What are they testing for?
They test for weather. So they use the mats in all kinds of conditions, extremes, extreme heat, extreme cold, exposure to sun, exposure to ice.
And exposure to salt air, which can be a factor on this coast,
especially in Florida.
And in the south, yeah. It's one of the things that we wanted to make sure that the magnets, which contain ferrite particles, don't rust. They don't go and wind up leaving marks on the roof. So yeah, the 1,000-hour testing was a factor. We wanted to make sure that the product held up.
And also we had contractor testing for 3 years before we even released the product online. You're taking someone's life in your hands and hopefully we help save them.
Yeah, we don't, that's the one thing that we really felt was highly important, was to make sure that it kept people safe and their investment in the product was long-term.
And they are patented here in the United States and Canada. Our patent is pending in Germany. So we would love this to be global.
We want to grow worldwide and help contractors and people in a quality product and in producing home value around the world.
Yeah, I like that you have so many options. You have different styles, you have different options. So depending on the job, what they're working on, there's going to be one that is going to fit and meet their need. I think it's really impressive the amount of R&D that you did put into it, because Lynn, as you said, you're taking someone's life into your hands, and you need to be sure and confident that this is going to do the job that it's intended to do. So very impressive. Congratulations on developing this incredible safety, life-saving product. I'm impressed.
Thank you. One of the things people ask, are the mats interchangeable? So the answer is no. The magnetic configuration between the pole barn style and the standing seam style are different. because of the metal layout. The Pro is where the deal is cinched. You don't have to guess what kind of roof. You can just take it out, and depending on which way you place it, either horizontally or vertically, it will stay in place. And actually, we decided to come up with that one because of the architectural style shingles. A lot of times when you step on them, they go concave, which means the magnet doesn't hold because it's not adhering to the metal. So on the Pro, because of the neodymium, the super strong rare
Yes.
Yes, it bonds well.
If the shingle goes concave, the magnet goes with it, and it's flexible enough that it will stick. So the Pro is, boy, if you can step up dollar-wise, because they are more,
Right.
that's the way to go. It takes the guesswork out, and it works for anything, including corrugated.
On a corrugated, you have very little exposure on each of the ribs. So you need that holding strength and grip to keep you in place. But we're happy to say that it works on corrugated. And so when you're going to, say, farmers, which is very common, you've got to work on a barn, replace sheeting, go up there and run new screws or something like that. The Pro Mat will get you there. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you both for being on the podcast today, for sharing your story of how this came about. I love hearing that. And I will ask that anybody listening that wants more information, you can visit MetalCoffeeShop.com and look for SteelGrip SAMM's directory, or you can go to SteelGripSAMM.com. That's SAMM, 2 M's, and purchase online. And I want to thank everybody for listening today. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast platform and set your notifications so that you don't miss a single episode. And we'll be seeing you on a future episode of MetalCast. Thanks for being here, Neil and Lin.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Roofer's Coffee Shop. Take care.